Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining me on the Colonial RV channel today. My name's Joe Welches, and today we're going to talk about the 2026 features of one of my favorite Class C RVs, the Winnebago Navion, also known as the Winnebago View. And I'm going to start by talking about some of these exterior changes and a lot of the things that make me love this Class C so much. Then we're going to step inside. You're going to see the fresh new interior on the 24D model from Winnebago. Let's go ahead and get started, guys. So with 2026 Winnebagos, we're of course going to have the 2-liter 4-cylinder turbo diesel motor up here in the front. This is going to give us better low-end torque. Definitely paired with a 9-speed transmission with overdrive, you're going to have a lot less trouble when you have steep inclines, hills out west. It's just a very beneficial change to the chassis platform overall. And this is of course paired with a dually rear-wheel drive axle. Very manageable. The chassis features with 2026, we have slight improvements to things like a drive assist system, where you see this front camera does a better job of reading roadway signs and just kind of helping you with the adaptive cruise control, but still that same beautiful front end that we've had previously here. With the mirrors out, we have a width of about 7 feet 6 inches, give or take a 1/4 inch there. And as we move along the side, I just want to start talking about some of the things that make this model specifically special. Previously, you were able to option a diesel generator, but now with the secondary 280 amp hour alternator, that's essentially your diesel generator that's going to charge your coach batteries while you're driving. So if you option out the propane generator, you can actually get 960 amp hours of Lithionics batteries. This is of course paired with a 2000 watt sine wave inverter. With even a single 320 amp hour battery, we're getting somewhere between 8 and 6 hours, or 6 and 8 hours of AC runtime, depending on the exterior temp, how hard that compressor is working. But when we get inside, I'm going to show you that this has been paired with a Truma Aventa AC, which is extremely efficient, and even on a high setting is only drawing like 10.5 amps. So it's an incredible AC. It's also very quiet. We'll talk more when we get inside. Right past our batteries here, just want to show you, we've got our 50-gallon propane tank, and then we have the reservoir for our slides here. And there's also your sewer hose storage right there. So if you don't want to put that in one of your storages, we have that solution so it doesn't have to mix with any of your other items. And that 50-gallon tank is great for running the Truma Comfort Plus continuous flow water heater, as well as the Vario heat for your furnace inside. And it's more of a temperate heat, definitely more humid, so you don't have to worry about a very dry air inside the coach. Now right here, we actually have the blind spot monitorings. This is version 2. Back in 2025, this was kind of an option. This is now standard, the second version of the blind spot monitoring, and it's just very great at monitoring, let's say 30 feet behind the coach. If you have a car in a lane and you don't quite see them yet, this is going to pick it up, bring it up on your indication on your mirror and on your dash of the Mercedes there. Also in the rear, we still have the black tank flush. The 24D still has the largest slide available from Winnebago, the Navion View line. And in the rear, I just love that we now have the Winnebago logo on the rear water management storage. So if I open this guy up, you can of course see we've got a storage cubby on the right, as well as our outdoor shower, the easy winterization line, which is just great that Winnebago offers. And of course we can have this closed and locked with our cords running underneath. And it's just a very insulated, nice coach compartment right there. Now in the rear, of course we have the backup camera. This is our newest version on the build. Brings up great parking space guidelines if you're backing up or you're hooking up a vehicle, a dinghy tow vehicle perchance. It's just going to give you a very great display in the rear. I wanted to mention we do have the 7-way cord. I've actually installed quite a few brake controllers in these Navions back in the day, so you can tow up to 5,000 pounds with a max vertical load or tongue weight of 500 pounds on this receiver. And we actually have a payload or an occupant cargo carrying capacity of 1,185. So whatever trailer we're towing, we just want to make sure that we haven't put too much wood or cargo weight in there, that we don't have that full 500 available for tongue weight. Moving over to the other side of the coach here, now that you have a full picture of the full coach, I wanted to mention that this is the new Ocean Coast exterior paint. This dark blue with the dark, almost evergreen accent line and this bright white beneath it. It's a beautiful looking coach. Exterior body paint is one of the best ways to preserve your investment into an RV. It's just going to look great like this for a much longer time than a non-full body paint RV. And I wanted to mention So we don't have the large rear exterior storage that the 24T and R have, but we still have over 30 cubic inches of storage on the 24D. We even have pass-through to access the inside, so if you have stuff in this storage compartment that you don't want to travel to the outside of the coach to get, maybe late night on a cold night, you can still access this through the interior closet inside. Of course, we also have storages that are backlit up here as well. And then of course, I've got below my Truma AquaGo here, comfort. We've got the other blind spot monitoring system. We have a barbecue port, so if you've got a Weber grill, a Blackstone, that's gonna pull from your 50-pound propane tank on the opposite side there, so you can be grilling out underneath your awning and just enjoying kind of the outside even a little bit more. And our other large storage we have on the exterior here also has a large battery disconnect as well as inverter disconnect. Having additional disconnect switches is just very helpful when you have such a large battery bank that we have on site. The inverter disconnect would also disable the inverter for charging. So if you had an issue with the inverter and you're relying off the solar or the secondary alternator, this could just completely kind of cut that system out of the equation for you. And of course we have the large storage on this side. And then finally, I wanted to bring you guys inside the coach. These dual pane windows are also an awesome option. I just want to mention while we have this open here, it's actually 3 times of a better insulator than the sliding glass windows. It is, you know, an option above, but it definitely makes the coach better in extended season use and a beautiful look as well. So stepping inside, let me let you get a first impression. This is actually the Motorhome interior, but instead of bright white on the cushions and the fabrics, we've gone with a gray, much easier to clean. You see the woven vinyl floor, all the backlit LED lighting. With a 960 amp hour battery bank, almost everything in here we can run for days at a time before we're looking for charge solutions. The biggest draw is going to be my AC right here, and these Truma Aventas are extremely efficient. Like I said, 10.5 amps in the high mode. We also have a medium and a low mode for the compressor, so if you're trying to sleep at night and have it a little bit quieter, you can have this on low mode, temperature controlling the coach and just keeping it very comfortable in here. So next thing I want to talk about in the 2026, we'll start right here in the front. The low profile cab option instead of the cab over bed is not only going to save you money off your build, it's also going to give you a large storage in the front. And of course right here we see these essentially booster seats that are an option from Winnebago. They actually come when you go with the Ultra Fabrics reupholstered seats. So with this, we have the gray from the Model R line. The gray, of course, looks great, just a little bit easier to clean than the white or the off-white. As well as there's the Hygge House, which is like a copper tone, more of an orange front cushions as well. And of course, those boosters are always going to match. They actually help when you rotate the seats towards the interior. That boost will just make it a little bit more comfortable to rest your feet here on the lip. Now, moving along on the inside, I want to mention what makes the 24D really, really special is the U-shaped dinette option. Not only do we have seat belts here, so when you have more folks coming along with you, in addition to having the bed here for the dinette, in addition to the Murphy or a cab over bunk in front, the U-shape just fits better for more people sitting around and dining, or even just 2 people using it as a workspace, or just lounging watching the TV. And also having the backlit LED, the dual pane window option, where we have, of course, the screen and the blackout shade, both of which are fantastic, kind of knocking out the light or just separating you from the outdoors when you want to. But the overhead storage with the LED light that both looks fantastic, but functionally gives you so much more interior storage is just such a great option we see on the 24D. Now this curtain back here in the last storage I wanted to mention will actually hook to the ceiling here, so we almost partition off the bed. So if you have multiple folks staying over for one night, you can close off the bed but still have access to the bathroom in the rear here. So a small change to the 2026 24D would be this rear Murphy bed. It's a small change, but it's one that our clients have been asking for a long time. These cushions on the couch now are much firmer than the previous generations, and they're actually going to completely remove out of the way when we're using the bed as a Murphy bed. But having more support when you're using this as a couch is definitely nicer, especially when you're lounging and using this for entertainment on a rainy day. So to deploy the legs are very, very easy. I'm just pulling them out, locking them in place. And then the switch for this Murphy bed is actually up high in the bathroom here. Now, we do see a thinner mattress, but the benefit of this is we can have this bed fully made with comforter, pillows, and we should still expect for it to close. We have it designed specifically with enough support underneath the mattress that you're not looking for a thick solution. This slat solution is actually very supportive and comfortable, like a traditional bed spring. So it's definitely a very beneficial Murphy bed to have. More comfortable than some of the previous iterations in the market. And then stowing it away, I'm just pressing a button here. And then I just need to lock in my foot posts. And I'm just pressing a release, and then they're going to lock in place. And then I'm just putting back my cushions. It's a very easy process to make this up into a bed and back into a couch. We also have 110 and 12 volt outlets on either side of the bed here, our propane detector below, and a pedestal for a table if we're using this as the workspace. I also want to mention that pass-through access. We have a second table, so you're not solely using the one table. The other table for the couch here or for the front driver and passenger seats when they're rotated, we can take this out. But this is also where we have access to the external storage, and we have a hanging coat rack, which is definitely a very popular requested item in an RV. Vanity storage as well as storage below, and a sliding pocket door. And one small distinction is we do have a non-porcelain commode in the 24D. That is to keep our occupant cargo carrying capacity high. I'm not saying you couldn't switch this to a porcelain. It's just from the factory, the composite model, to kind of help with that overall cargo carrying capacity. And I wanted to mention that we have roughly the same size shower as we do in the 24R. I believe it's 24 by 32. And in the 24R, we have roughly 25 by 30. So very similar size. We still have hanging rack here. We have the fantastic vent in the rear, of course, to keep this whole area evacuated. And the pocket door is nice to, of course, separate the space. Next, I want to talk about the fantastic kitchenette that we have in the 24D here. At the very rear behind our fridge, we have a really large pantry with a top storage shelf and a deeper bottom storage shelf, but we also have these drawers that pull out, making it easier to access stuff in the back of your pantry here. 3 of these large drawers, just making it way better to use the space. And then below here, we've got access to our breaker panel here, as well as probably 12 volt fuses. And then below we've got our winterization system. So behind that panel, we've got 2 T-valves. In addition to our pickup hose and the back storage on our driver's side, these 3 valves just make it very easy for the owner of the Winnebago to winterize it themselves. Next, we're going to talk about the 12 volt fridge here. These Norcolds are actually very, very popular in the market. Very deep for a 12 volt compressor style fridge, as well as different zones for the fridge and freezer. So if you want to keep your ice cream freezing cold, but you only have a bunch of produce in your fridge, you can kind of have the 2 separate. And this also has a nighttime mode to cut down the compressor draw to just make it much quieter as you're sleeping at night. And moving into the kitchenette here, we have an 80-inch long countertop, and we have a induction cook plate right here because of course we have so much battery power on board, we can run the induction. But we also have a propane stovetop because we know our clients still love cooking with propane. So we have best of both worlds here at the end of the kitchen countertop. I also want to mention we've got some fantastic lighting, the LED backlit on the end of the countertop. And over by our drawers here, I want to mention we do have this travel lock, which is a great new feature, so these drawers won't move or make any noise when we're going down the road. But they're also fantastic backlit, and soft close drawers, and a little bit deeper with the bottom too. And with them open, you can of course see that they're lit beneath, but I wanted to mention our bottom ones are so deep. We also have our convection / normal microwave here. This is just a great option as well. So instead of having a gas oven, it's almost like air frying inside the coach. But if you want to throw an air fryer, a pressure cooker, slow cooker up on the countertop, we have the outlets right below our TV and sound bar here. We also have a Wi-Fi gateway switch in this cabinet over here where you see our HDMI ports, our rooftop antenna, and if we're doing an exterior antenna where we have the port here, as well as 12 volt outlets above. But the Wi-Fi gateway, now standard in 2026, is fantastic if you're trying to utilize the TV and your streaming apps and just kind of enjoying or working from the road. And I also want to mention the dual basin sink at the end of the countertop here with the countertop cover, so we can use more prep space when we're not using both basins of the sink. And of course, the dual door, very deep, very large storage beneath the sink there. So think, you know, waste paper basket. We also have the water softener filter there, which really roughly every year when you're winterizing, I would recommend replacing. Now, another very huge chassis feature with 2026, or coach feature with 2026 really, is the Winnebago Connect screen. Now there's also a companion app, so you can check all this from your phone as well, getting updates, turning things on and off, even when you're away from the coach. As long as the coach has service and you have service, you have control over your RV here. So if you walk away to take a hike, you have your animals or kids still left in the van, you can control the air and some of the appliances, even not being with the coach. As well as below our Connect screen here, we have some quick switches. We have pump switches throughout the coach, both on the exterior and the rear bathroom and by the door here, and the auto leveling, which is fantastic, but of course, ignition required. And there you have it. There is our 2026 24D Navion in View updates. Now, anything that you really love about this coach, please drop it below in the comments. Anything you also really don't like, please let us know. We love to hear from you. And my name's Joe Welches. Thanks for joining us here in Colonial RV in New Jersey. And I look forward to seeing you all in the next walkthrough video.